Coming up on 9 News Mornings, it's a holiday weekend. The roads are expected to be packed with travelers. And another warning from law enforcement not to drive under the influence. The winning artist at the Colorado State Fair wasn't a Coloradan or even a person. And it sparked a debate that has some artists pretty upset. And you can turn your kitchen into a science lab this weekend. Our science guy, Steve Spangler, shows us the step-by-step process to a bottle experiment that the whole family can enjoy. 9 News Mornings starts right now. And good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this Friday morning. Corey is off, Erica filling in, Chris filling in for Erica. It's so confusing.
Yeah.
And we're all dressed alike.
We are.
What are the odds?
How about that?
That group thread is just doing wonders.
Yeah. We all got the memo.
Yeah.
It is Go Teal for Ovarian Cancer Day, and we'll talk about that coming up a little bit later. But in the meantime, going to be another hot day, I guess, huh?
Yes, it is. Another hot day. We got a string of them coming up, but maybe a week from today, we break the streak.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, but if we do that, we'll still be third then on the list of 90-degree days for a season.
Wow.
We get to third, yeah.
Yeah.
As far as our weather goes today, well, we had 93 yesterday, 94 the day before. So you see how it's going. 90s, maybe 92, 93, 94. That's the way it's going to be. And we do have some high clouds drifting across the area. Still pretty mild around here. 66 degrees is what we're seeing. And there are some clouds just drifting across the state right now. We'll see an afternoon shower or thunderstorm later on, widely scattered around here. So yeah, we might see one in Denver, not going to be a big deal. Then they clear out, and then tomorrow I think they kind of shift to the mountains and down to the southwest for the activity. So for today, 92 degrees with maybe a late day storm. Saturday we're at 90 with sunny skies, sunshine on Sunday with 92. Here's the holiday, Labor Day, 93 degrees, and we start Tuesday with 92 degrees and lots of sunshine.
And so far, so good out there on the roads here on this Friday morning. This is 225 at DTC Boulevard, where things moving smoothly so far here on this Friday morning. And across town, seeing a whole lot of green on this map. That's exactly what you want to see. I-70, 225, 270, as well as most of 25 looking A-OK. It'll take you about 14 minutes. Get from downtown down to the DTC, and the reverse also about 14 minutes with an average speed of about 70 miles an hour in both directions. And also here on I-70 from 225 down to 25, it'll take you about 7 minutes. Same on the reverse. So again, things running smoothly so far this morning. One thing to keep in mind that if you're heading out to the airport, it'll be about 13 minutes for the bridge security, but south security right now about 26-minute wait. It is the Friday before Labor Day, so you probably don't want to give yourself a little bit of extra time as you head over to DIA. And also, you can expect quite a bit of traffic on I-70 this weekend. 9 News reporter John Glasgow is live near Golden. John, Colorado State Patrol will be out in full force this weekend as well.
Absolutely, Chris, and they'll be looking for drivers that are going too fast. They'll also be looking for drivers who might be under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Colorado State Patrol says that they often see a higher number of DUI-related deaths on the roadways over the Labor Day weekend. So CDOT, they say that over the last decade, 78 people have died on Colorado roads over the Labor Day weekend. 45% of those crashes involved an impaired driver. So far this year, 160 people have been killed in DUI-related crashes across the state, and 35% of all deadly crashes have been linked to a driver under the influence. CDOT's reminding drivers that a DUI is more than just a hefty fine. It could take more than 2 years to resolve and up to $13,000 in the cost there. Not to mention you could lose your job, license, or end up in jail. So CDOT is reminding everyone to leave the keys at home if you're going to be drinking or using drugs this weekend. Uber is also offering discounts in Denver over the Labor Day weekend. Just another way to help keep people off the roads. Erica?
Yeah, John, certainly a good reminder there. Thank you so much. We'll check in with you a little bit later this morning. And with that 3-day weekend ahead of us, we want to know what your plans are this weekend. Send us a text. Let us know. 303-871-1491, and we'll be sharing your answers a little bit later in the show. Now, if you have had problems traveling at an airport this year, you are not alone. Federal aviation data shows the number of customer complaints more than doubled in the first half of the year compared to 2021, jumping to nearly 16,000 complaints. About a third of those related specifically to flight problems. This week, the Transportation Department introduced a new tool that lays out, quote, the services or amenities that each of the large U.S. airlines provide. Now, when passengers are impacted by delays or cancellations due to factors within airlines' control.
It is possible you could get an updated COVID booster by next week. The Centers for Disease Control has signed off on Pfizer and Moderna's new booster shots. The boosters combine the original vaccine with the one that targets the BA4 and BA5 Omicron subvariants. Pfizer's shot is for people 12 and older. Moderna's is for 18 and older. Colorado has ordered more than 145,000 doses from the federal government so far. Pharmacies here have ordered another 143,000. The state expects regular shipments to come in going forward.
We have been watching Colorado's latest COVID test positivity rate, hoping we would drop below that 5% number for the first time in a long time. But that rate has now plateaued. 6.1% of tests have come back positive in the last week. So not at home tests. These are officially monitored tests. For a few weeks, we saw those numbers fall, but we've been in that 6% range for about 2 weeks now. Below 5% is where public health experts consider the virus to be in check.
Years after the pandemic sent students home to learn remotely, not all of those kids have gone back to the classroom. Hundreds of students in one district in northern Colorado are just missing from school. And now the districts are trying to get them back to finish their school days. 9 News reporter Mark Salinger went along with a team who's going house to house to make contact with missing students.
The path towards getting back to school starts with a knock. A lot of knocks.
And we're here from Greeley Central High School. The reason we're here is because this student hasn't showed up to school.
The team from the Zero Dropouts organization goes house to house.
They're in there. Nobody wanted to answer the door.
Searching for students who haven't come back to school after the pandemic sent everyone home.
They got used to it, and some of them never recovered. And that's what we're here. We're trying to get those guys back in school.
Jordan Tellez is an attendance advocate with Zero Dropouts. Greeley Evans District 6 is using federal pandemic aid money to work with Zero Dropouts to try and get everyone back to school. Some stay home to take care of family, others started working, and others have simply stopped coming to class. There are a lot of students left to find.
Hundreds, yes. Yes, I think last year was almost actually close to 1,000.
The beginning of the year that we chased so many last year, to see that they've been here every day this year, since school started, is such a major accomplishment.
Amanda Fierro spent the last school year searching for missing students. This year, she's in the classroom teaching them.
They'll pass by my office and they'll just say, hey, I'm here, or Miss, I'm doing this year, or Miss, this is happening, or I got a new job. So it feels good that they don't hold anything against me, but they appreciate what I did for them.
The hallways inside Greeley Central High School are crowded again.
Love the shirt, dude. Yes.
Zero Dropouts knows there's more work to be done for them to be full.
Because the most important part of being successful as a student in high school is just being there. So if we can just get the kids to come back to school and get in the classrooms, that's where we get the most success from them.
Now going door to door, house to house, searching for students is a last resort for Zero Dropouts. They start by calling and then texting and then emailing every number before they actually go into the neighborhoods and knock on doors. While there are still hundreds of students who haven't come back to class, the team has gotten hundreds more back to school over the past year.
The pandemic has taken a toll on reading and math scores for America's 9-year-old students. This is according to new data from the National Center for Education. Reading scores saw their largest decrease in 30 years, and math scores had their first drop in the history of this testing. In math, the average score for 9-year-old students fell 7 percentage points between 2020 and 2022, while the average reading score fell 5 points. The declines impacted all regions of the country and affected students of most races, but students of color saw some of the steepest decreases, and the declines were slightly worse in the Northeast and the Midwest. Federal officials say this is the first national study to look at student achievement before the pandemic and when most students returned to in-person learning.